Well, this does go, at least initially, starting to head the direction I kind of said I needed it to go in terms of counteracting some of the changes to the character. So that's good. Ms. Marvel, episode 2. So quick refresh. I do have a number of complaints about the previous episode, and these are gonna hold to some extent across the show, largely having to do with the change to her powers. I didn't like, as was presented in episode 1, that they seem to come from a completely outside source versus something that was within her that was activated, which fit more with like a teenager coming into adulthood, coming into power metaphor. And 2, I didn't like that they got rid of her stretchy powers because her being really awkward and gangly and having, frankly, an often off-putting looking superpower really fit. And I actually kind of really liked the fact that she was inspired by Captain Marvel, but her powers were absolutely nothing like Captain Marvel's. And I didn't like that the light constructs kind of put it more in line with Captain Marvel. To me, that actually makes her less interesting, not more. That having been said, I do understand that like stretchy human effects really still don't look good. So like I get it, but it's still a loss to the character to me. I did say that one of the ways they could counteract what was lost in bringing something else is to tie in these abilities more into her heritage, which wasn't really the case in the original. Like it kind of was, but like not really, not in the way it is here. I talked more about that in the last review, so you can check that out. But not only are they doing that, they also imply through something Bruno says that the bracelet, the bangle, I think is what she calls it, that it's channeling something within her as opposed to being the source of the power itself. That helps a little bit. Part of me will always miss the sheer awkwardness of her stretching. I really do think that's kind of important, and I will always miss not having it there. But short of that, they are starting to do more work to have the changes they made add something so that it's not just taking away stuff that was there before, but it's now adding in something that wasn't really there. And that's kind of what you have to do. If you're going to make a change that fundamentally removes an aspect of a character, you better put something in its place, something that makes sense. And they do appear to be doing that here. So while I still, in my heart, kind of will always wish they'd kept its stretchy powers, I will also say that if they were never going to do that, I'm more okay with this now after 2 episodes than I was initially. So that's good. I'm still liking Kamala. Bruno's okay. I don't like that they're kind of setting up for very standard friendship, teenage drama stuff with Bruno, because now they've got that he's got this opportunity in California. So obviously that's going to be a point of tension, if only in his head, until he tells her. He seems to be like somewhat jealous of the new guy who's shown up, who I don't mind him. He's fine so far. But I suppose that brings me to, like, there is more of the high school social dynamics, Mean Girls, popularity, makes me cringe stuff. And here's the first thing. I continue to not like that. I will never like that. Like, I just won't. However, for what it is kept, thankfully, pretty much to the minimum. Because, like, honestly, I was expecting stuff like that popular girl going on and on about what happened at AvengerCon. I expected that, and especially the party, to drag out way longer than it did, and to feature a lot more embarrassment for characters than it did. So while this stuff is still present, and I kind of wish it wasn't, I accept that it will be. For this story, like, it's just going to be there. They are cutting it down to a minimum and not lingering there too long, which helps for someone like me who just does not enjoy that material. And let me be clear, I'm still liking the family. I'm still liking them a fair bit, and I actually like the stuff at the mosque. I like what's going on with Nakia. I like what's going on with Kamala's friend Nakia, I think was it? I might be misremembering that. Anyways, I like her. I like the dynamic the two of them have. I like just her as a personality. I really like the moment they have in the bathroom where she like sort of talks about, not in these exact words, but she basically talks about sort of claiming her own image and her own sense of self by choosing to wear the head wrap. And I thought that was a really good moment. And I'm liking her in general. Right now, the emphasis is still largely on the family stuff, the school stuff. They've introduced this aspect of Kamala trying to find out sort of more about her own history, which, like, again, if you're going to tie all of this more into her Pakistani heritage, that makes a heck of a lot of sense to do. So that works decently for me. I'm kind of hoping we can sort of pick up the pace on the superheroing a little bit. Now, here's the thing: like, I'm not necessarily bored by the rest of it, and I get kind of doing a slow burn. Except, like, I've read the first couple volumes of her in the comics, and like she got to the superhero pretty quick. I mean, granted, it's a different medium, and you know, when you're kind of selling issue by issue, you kind of have to really get people hooked in quicker. But I don't know, I liked the montage of her learning her powers. I kind of wish there was just more of that eagerness to like really get going and trying to help people. Like, I do like that she is very quick to go and help that boy who does need the help. But right now the big threat appears to be just cops, basically. I mean, clearly there's something else. They're tied into something else and it's shady and like all that, but like, it's cops. It's just cops right now for all intents and purposes in terms of framing and what little we know about them. So I'm waiting for a more interesting conflict. That's not to say that the initial villain that Kamala faced in the comics was great. The Inventor was serviceable as a starting villain for a new hero. But what was interesting to me was watching her really trying specifically to make use of this for the purpose of helping people and getting into that right away. And so even when she was dealing with, you know, muggings and stuff like that, like, I still found it real interesting in the comics, and we're slower to get there in this one. I should check how many episodes there are in this. I'm hoping it's more than 6, because if it's doing the 6 the same way Moon Knight did, that would worry me. I don't think that's what they're doing. Actually, you know what? While I'm trying to figure that out, but overall, I'm still liking it. I'm not blown away. I'm not amazed, and this is a solid continuation from, you know, what we had before. Ah, crap! It is only 6. It's only 6 episodes. Pick up the pace, please. Like, I get that this is much more likely to get a second season, whereas Moon Knight was a bit more constructed to be a mini-series, but, like, that thing desperately needed more episodes, at least 1, if not 2. This only having 6, they better confirm a second season right away if this, at this rate, because otherwise I'm like, you've only got 6 episodes, and at the pace you're going, the stuff that I'm really excited for is gonna end up being 2 episodes at most. And that's a little bit slower of a burn than I would care to have. But again, the stuff that I've liked from before is still good. I am a little bit nervous about the stuff with Bruno, and because like it just feels like very obvious setups for very standard trite teenage drama between friends stuff. You know, we're layering that in, but you know, we can't. We're taking our sweet time, getting her into the superheroing, and like have her get stuck in and get over her head. I guess that's another thing. Like, I haven't reread the first volume of Kamala Khan, but I feel like she stumbled onto bigger things going on, and she ended up in over her head just in the process of trying to help people. Whereas here, like, the bigger thing that gets her in over her head is coming for her. I don't know. It feels a little off doing it that way. I don't know. It's early. We'll see. I am still enjoying it overall. I am now nervous knowing it's only 6 episodes, but we will see. So, Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel. I keep going. Like instinctively, I want to call her Kamala before saying Ms. Marvel. And I don't mean to be disrespectful for the title, but for one thing, she hasn't adopted the name yet. Nightlight, dear God. And, you know, for another, you know, Ms. Marvel has been other people. Kamala is always Kamala. But anyways, Ms. Marvel, episode 2, what'd you think about it? Drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon is what pays the bills, enables me to do this. Any amount you can support is of great assistance. Don't worry too much about it. Otherwise, though, there's links to other things I do in the description. But don't worry too much about that either. Take a relaxed attitude around here so you can just come on back next time you need a break. All right, I've got thanks to give for my Patreon supporters. Robin Moore, Zubin Fala, Tarak, The Thing That Goes Doink in the Anime, Oliver B., Linda Walters, Emu Delki, The Oath of Boyd, TT, Fernobulax the Poodle, Zach, Eidolon, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperl, Toku BL Huvian, Adam RDL Taylor, Shane Ross, Shayla Gourlay, and Brendan LaRose. The Rats and I thank you.